You walk through the world like a soul split in two, half light, half shadow, half healer, half wanderer. To others, you seem calm, composed, maybe even mysterious, but inside, there's a storm that never rests. You are both the observer and the participant, both the dreamer and the realist, both the one who saves and the one who silently breaks. And perhaps that's the curse, and the beauty, of being you. Because while the world sees only your stillness, they never hear the war that rages beneath your quiet smile. This is the duality of the INFJ, the eternal dance between extremes, the paradox that defines one of the rarest and most complex minds in the world. 1. The healer and the broken one. INFJs are born with an almost divine capacity to heal others. You sense pain without needing to hear it spoken. You pick up on energy shifts the way others notice the weather, subtle, yet undeniable. People are drawn to your calm, to your empathy, to the feeling that somehow, you understand them in ways they don't even understand themselves. But here's the cruel truth. You often heal from your own wounds. Your empathy isn't born from ease, it's born from experience. You understand brokenness because you've lived it. You know what it means to be unseen, unheard, misunderstood, and so, when you meet others who carry silent pain, you make it your mission to make them feel safe. You pour out your compassion until your heart feels hollow, until you've given so much of yourself that you forget where the other person ends and where you begin. You speak softly, but you carry the weight of others' emotions like sacred burdens, even when no one asks you to. And yet, behind all that gentleness, lives a deep fracture. The broken part of you that no one tends to, because you've always been the one doing the tending. You are the healer who bleeds quietly, the empath who comforts while silently unraveling. Your duality is in the way you give light while sitting in the dark, and in how your compassion often becomes the very reason you hurt. 2. The idealist and the realist. Inside every INFJ lives a relentless idealist, a visionary who sees the world not as it is, but as it could be. You imagine futures that could heal humanity, relationships that could redeem the broken, love that could transform the soul. You chase meaning, truth, authenticity, and when you find glimpses of it, your entire being lights up with quiet joy. But reality, for you, is often a painful interruption. Because the world doesn't always match your vision. People don't always mean what they say. Justice doesn't always prevail. And kindness, your most sacred currency, is not always returned. You watch how the world trades authenticity for convenience, depth for performance, love for attention, and it breaks something inside you every time. You see so clearly how things should be, and yet you are forced to live within what is. That's the inner split. The idealist in you dreams of perfection, while the realist in you quietly adjusts to imperfection. You oscillate between hope and disappointment, inspiration and exhaustion, faith and doubt. You tell yourself not to expect too much, but your heart never listens. And still, even in disillusionment, your idealism refuses to die. You rebuild hope from ashes. You still believe in people, even after they've let you down. Because deep down, your duality doesn't weaken you, it's what keeps you human in a world that sometimes forgets how to feel. 3. The extroverted introvert. One of the strangest paradoxes of the INFJ soul is the way you long for connection but constantly retreat from it. You crave closeness, deep, raw, meaningful closeness, the kind where silence feels like safety and honesty feels like home. But the moment you open up too much, the moment you feel too exposed, something inside you withdraws like a tide retreating from shore. You are an introvert with the heart of an extrovert. You love people, their stories, their struggles, their essence, but you also fear their energy consuming yours. You want to be seen, but not fully. You want to be understood, but only by those who can handle your depth. So you float between presence and absence, appearing warm, engaged, alive, and then disappearing into solitude to recharge from the very connection you craved. To outsiders, it seems inconsistent. To you, it's survival. You know that too much exposure drains your spirit, and too much isolation suffocates your soul. So you live in the in-between, longing for closeness yet terrified of losing yourself within it. Your duality is in the rhythm of your energy, expanding toward people, contracting back to solitude, an endless inhale and exhale of emotional existence. 4. The observer and the participant. INFJs experience life through two simultaneous lenses, one that observes and one that feels. You are both inside every moment and hovering above it, analyzing, decoding, intuiting. You study body language, tone, silence, micro-expressions, and patterns that most people never notice. But that constant awareness comes at a cost. You rarely feel fully present. Even when you're laughing, your mind is dissecting the meaning behind the laughter. Even when you're in love, part of you stands back, watching how love unfolds, where it could go wrong, how it could end. You live with one foot in emotion and one foot in observation, and sometimes you wonder if you'll ever feel free enough to simply be. To stop analyzing, to stop reading the room, to stop anticipating the next heartbreak before it happens. But this is the INFJ mind. It sees too much to ever be careless. It feels too deeply to ever be detached. And so you exist in that strange space where insight and emotion merge, too analytical to be naive, too emotional to be cold. That's the paradox, to see the world's chaos clearly, yet to love it fiercely anyway. 5. The lover and the lone wolf. When an INFJ loves, it's not casual. It's all-consuming, sacred, and transformative. You don't fall in love, you descend into it. You see souls, not surfaces. You crave union, not attention. And when you love, you give everything, your trust, your intuition, your energy, your dreams. But because you love so deeply, you also fear losing yourself. You know how easily love can blur boundaries, how it can drain your energy, how it can make you forget your own needs. So even while you long for closeness, you hold back parts of yourself. You test people's intentions quietly, you retreat when you sense inauthenticity, you watch for the subtle cracks that others overlook. And when love disappoints you, as it often does, you don't lash out. You vanish. You disappear into silence, into reflection, into healing that no one witnesses. Your love is not loud, but it's infinite. Your solitude is not loneliness, but protection. And this duality, to love deeply yet retreat silently, defines how you navigate every connection. You are both the lover and the lone wolf, the one who saves hearts and the one who must mend their own in secret. It's why your love feels like both a blessing and a burden, too powerful to suppress, too fragile to expose. 6. The dreamer and the cynic. INFJs often exist between two conflicting truths. They see the world's beauty, but they also see its darkness. You are a dreamer who believes in the potential for goodness, and yet, you are also the cynic who has seen too much betrayal to stay naive. You hold hope and heartbreak in the same hand. You believe in humanity, but you've witnessed how easily people lie, how carelessly they hurt, how often they choose comfort over conscience. And yet, despite all of that, you can't help but believe there's still something sacred in us. You still see sparks of redemption in small acts of kindness, in quiet bravery, in love that survives despite everything. That's the INFJ's eternal duality. You trust even after being betrayed. You hope even after being disappointed. You care even when you're tired of caring. Because giving up on meaning would mean giving up on yourself, and that's something you could never do. You live with a cautious heart, skeptical but still open, wounded but still loving, exhausted but still believing that somehow, your purpose is to keep hope alive when others lose it. You are both the dreamer who believes in miracles and the realist who has buried them, and you carry both with grace. 7. The light and the shadow. Every INFJ carries a light that draws others in, a light that feels pure, gentle, and wise beyond words. People feel safe in your presence, not because you speak loudly, but because your energy whispers, "I see you." But what they don't realize is that your light exists because of your shadow. Your empathy is born from your pain. Your wisdom comes from your wounds. Your patience is the result of all the times you had to wait for someone to understand you, and they never did. There's a darkness within you, but it's not evil, it's depth. It's the shadow that watches, analyzes, withdraws. It's the part of you that's tired of being too good, too available, too forgiving. Sometimes, your shadow whispers things your light doesn't want to hear, truths about human nature, about your own boundaries, about the need to stop rescuing people who never save themselves. The duality of the INFJ is not a flaw, it's your balance. You are not meant to live purely in light or shadow. You are meant to dance between both, to shine without burning out, to love without losing yourself, to help without disappearing. Your light heals others. Your shadow protects you. Together, they make you whole. To be an INFJ is to live as a sacred paradox, a soul that feels everything yet hides its pain behind still eyes. You are both the healer and the wounded, the lover and the lone wolf, the dreamer and the cynic. You carry within you a constant tension between empathy and exhaustion, intuition and doubt, faith and fear. But that's what makes you extraordinary. Because despite the contradictions, despite the fatigue, despite the quiet heartbreak, you keep choosing to see beauty. You keep choosing kindness. You keep choosing love. You are a walking contradiction of strength and softness, a warrior with the heart of a poet, a seeker who still believes that even in darkness, there's something worth saving. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes the INFJ so rare. Not their depth alone, but their ability to exist in two worlds at once, to feel deeply yet remain strong, to be endlessly aware yet endlessly forgiving. You don't need to resolve your duality, you just need to understand it. Because your contradictions are not your flaws, they're your symphony. Every part of you, the light, the shadow, the hope, the doubt, belongs. And when you finally stop fighting who you are, you'll see that your duality was never meant to divide you. It was meant to make you infinite.